makeup, hairstylist, microphone, apron. Okay, never mind. Today without. Hello, hello. Today even the hand claps work. So, why we use spruce for the top? And we will make this video, and then we will have, and then I have the pieces in the hand, which will be probably the best way, because I have a few things which I have to grab, and then you're always turning around. This is a little bit difficult, okay? So, okay, now, this is actually a violin which we are building, and you know, I'm here from Cremona, Italy. And if you are not subscribed, you don't know, so that's why you should subscribe, so I don't have to repeat all the time that I'm from Cremona, Italy. And I'm actually mainly focusing on building violins from from pieces of wood like this. Okay, wow, this is pretty heavy. I hope nothing else coming down. And I even offer it to buy like this with sound post, fingerboard, neck, linings, bass bar, everything included. Now this is a very typical set of how it looks like. It's actually pretty heavy, of how a violin is made, okay? And out of this might be, I would say 4 kilos, maybe even, yeah, something like this. Then at the very end you have half a kilo, not even 400 something grams, 470 for a finished violin, okay? And now, so you can choose out of a few pieces, and we mainly sell we sell on the online shop, but then actually all the instruments actually are made with a very classic style of wood, which means don't want to drop this here, you know. The best things come from the sky here, you know. A classic instrument is made with maple, the ribs, the back, the neck, right? And you can certainly also change now the neck, let's say, to a different material. If you use poplar for the scroll, the neck usually they make it always in maple, because probably it's less winding and working and whatever, while poplar is a little bit a nervous wood. But you can also use nut fruits like pear, apple. I've even seen instruments made out of mahogany, and I even saw that Marco was building. Now I put it here because I didn't want to throw pieces which are not mine, you know, around the world here. Out of this lunch I saw him planning the arching of a Testore copy out of this kind of very particular wood, which is typical for Italy, platano, yeah, has these big leaves, and the tree underneath is a little bit with these big spots of the outside of the tree, yeah. And that actually it certainly influences everything, influences the sound. And let's say a poplar becomes a little bit more softer in sound, and is as long as you make a viola would work pretty good. But on a violin it becomes not comparable to a classic violin. But you use it and you see it. But when it comes to the top, as I told you, we always use spruce, and that's what we want to clear. And why? And that's a very simple thing. An instrument is nothing else like a small mechanical object which by stroking with the bow is putting into vibration the bridge. And the bridge is a little bit like the, let's say, the major part of the engine, of this sound engine, which at the very end is putting into vibration the entire top. and the top is made with these 2 feet here standing here, and on the other side you have on the base, underneath the deepest string, you have the bass bar, and underneath the highest string you have here, I signed here actually already, you have the sound post, which connects the top to the back. So it is somehow underneath the highest string, the E string or the A string on the viola, the A string on the cello, and so on, is blocked on this side, and the other side is going up and down, okay? Now, Spruce, over the years we have seen that for most instruments, pianoforte, piano, guitars, mandolin, all these kind of instruments, whether it is now a bowed instrument or a picked instrument or like the piano, I don't know how it's called in English, but you hammer it somehow, the string, right? The top, which actually is responsible for good sound vibrating, is always out of spruce. And there are woods which are similar, and on guitars you use cedar or from spruce, not the red but the white spruce, and things like this. But on a violin it is so compact, and it is such a limited area where there are a lot of measurements, and we're talking between Guarneri and Stradivari, as I showed you in the one of the past videos. There is little room to change something. If you would use here a cedar wood, I have seen violins already with that, you can immediately tell, oh, this is not a normal violin. You cannot compare it already with such a tiny difference, okay? And then you can use the wood. French people love their French wood, yeah? Germans love their German wood. No, actually, all the wood, Germany, Austria, Italy, even France, all Europe actually takes the best sounding spruce from the Val di Fiemme. And there are nice woods also, like Morassi had a forest close to the border to Austria up to Udine, and then you go up to Austria to the direction Klagenfurt, Villach, in that area. It's nice. For many years Cremona worked with this kind of wood because he was one of the few wood dealers here in town. But over the years people discovered again the Val di Fiemme and the precious quality of the Val di Fiemme. So I don't want now to say that the wood from Morassi is no good and don't use it, whatever. If you're convinced to it, it's all fine. But I would probably, it's nowadays it's not anymore a big issue just to get the right things from the right area. And why should we change it? And it works so brilliant. From the Val di Fiemme there is a valley where this spruce is grown with a wind speed which is very constant over the whole entire year. And so the dark grain is very thin, and the material itself is very homogeneous all over all the years. The changing from winter to summer and from summer to winter comes usually within 24 hours, and that's good for how it's growing. Yeah. So the best vibrating material and best vibrating spruce, you can already hear it probably how it is. I can hear already sounding, it's already screaming, please play me, comes from the Val di Fiemme. And that's the reason why we use it in violin making. And then of course if you're from Australia or from the United States, then you take different woods because you can get them easier. But after all, I believe that the Italian spruce from the Val di Fiemme, which is a little bit more than 2 hours drive from Cremona, isn't that bad, and I believe it is another ingredient for a great Italian sounding instrument. Yeah, it's interesting, the entire issue. There are also one more thing which I just wanted to point out. Oh madame, this one we throw up. Hop! Madonna, incredible here. And then here, let's say Another thing is I'm working here now. Marco said, why isn't it ready, master? This is a violin with 48,000-year-old seasoned backwood. It's still wood, but it's 48,000 years. We have tested it in the University of Physics in Rome, and I have a certificate about this. They check the carbon inside, and then they can see that. And this one I don't throw up here. This is a little bit too, it's pretty interesting. I made already two instruments with it, and this is my last piece I have of this wood. And the top here, I don't know if you can see that, it's a very particular wood, and it has all these strange designs inside, yeah? And that's actually Moschiato, and that's the best choice of spruce for violin making. And when you have this kind of signs inside, that means that the elasticity, could it be like this? Oh, today is really tough here. I think it's something like this. It's very elastic, okay? It bounces back to its original shape. It's very, very high, and the speed of the frequency is also very quick. And that's why I use it. I think it's nice. Usually Asian customers never liked it in the past because they were a little bit afraid that this is a mistake. But this is not a mistake. This is a super precious and super top sounding quality of spruce. Now I hope not everybody wants now a violin made of this, because we don't have that much from this kind of wood. Yeah, I have seen instruments which have the top out of a different material. What pops out is just not comparable with a classic choice of wood, especially on the top. But the bigger the instrument becomes, the less important is the type of material used. In short terms, in Latin America, I've never been there, but I see it on pictures and on videos and things like this. They were playing double bass on a double bass where even the top was made out of the same hard wood, probably mahogany or something, ribs, back, top, everything out of the same wood, and was sounding extremely good. You could not do the same thing with a violin. Yeah? I hope I explained it very well, and you're getting more and more curious to know all my tiny ingredients and things about violin making. And so you have to sign up, you have to subscribe, you have to push the button, you have to tell your friends, because this is a very tiny community actually. There are only few people who are willing to know all these tiny ingredients. But if you want to choose a great instrument, the more you know, the better it is for you, your wallet, and certainly the result, a great instrument, great music. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao, bye bye.